are in peak Dolphin hype moment here. And I do believe in this team. Clearly, they've beaten a lot of bad teams. That's a fact. But they didn't just squeak by them like some other teams. They've destroyed them. And so that means you did what you're supposed to, plus, which means you're a really good team. Okay? But we got to see how that translates going forward. And it's not always guaranteed to be the same thing against the better and better teams. The separation from the haves and the have-nots in the NFL is a wide chasm. So this week against the Eagles is going to be a big, big game. And injuries are now hovering over both teams, and they're going to change the matchups. It's going to change how these teams perform. People always like to say injuries are excuses or something to that effect. People can use them for that, but it's context that if you're Miami Dolphins from 1984 and just before the Super Bowl, Dan Marino goes down, you could say it's an excuse that you lost the Super Bowl because Dan Marino wasn't in the Super Bowl, but we'd all know that's ridiculous. So it's the same thing here, but, depending on the player and the magnitude of what they bring, it alters things. And so both teams are losing stuff, and so the puzzle gets shaken up. Now, I keep going back to the Dolphins injury report, and they love to make me wait. I heard Lamb might be mispracticed today, and that has got me worried. I mean, that's really annoying. And so I got the Philly injury report over here. So I'm going to talk about the Philly injury report, the Dolphins injury report. We got some great news, obviously, with Ramsey returning. I'm going to go over some film of the Miami Dolphins offense versus Carolina, show some good things and some sobering things. Some really good things about our skill talent, and trying to show some sobering things about the offensive line. I'm hearing some crazy. It's like, I don't know if anybody's ever traded stocks or cryptocurrencies or anything. There's this point where things start building momentum and they get higher and higher, and they reach this frenzy point, and then they it's oversold and it collapses. I kind of feel like the Dolphins are there right now because I see people saying, hey, don't worry, Jalen Carter versus him like Eichenberg. It's not a big deal. We got that. I'm like, what? Now, I mean, if we do, then it's Super Bowl bound without a doubt. But I know that we got an avant-garde build here. It's kind of defying some tried and true traditions. But there's no way on earth that, you could see the Bills game where you got Daquan Jones and Oliver versus Eichenberg, and it was trouble. And now you got Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox, and it's like no big deal. So I think that we're at a little bit of a crazy point. This is a good team. We got really great strong points, and there's some weak points, but it's not like you could throw out the whole concept of football. Like we don't need anybody in the offensive line. We're still going to be able to do it. So besides, despite what people are saying, I personally hope that Connor's in. I hope that Lamb is healthy because I want to see us go against this team. It's a good team, guys. Don't be fooled. This is a good team. It's a good matchup for us in some ways and a bad matchup in others. It's going to be a quality game. And if Lamb and Connor are in, we could actually have a shot to beat this. But if you don't got Lamb in and you don't got Connor in, I don't know. I don't see how he can win. It's possible. But that's a little crazy. So now I'm going to show you something here. This is not about the Dolphins. I saw this was a big funny. I've never seen anything like this on the offensive line. You guys know I'm the offensive line people. If this is not the Dolphins, it's the Bears. But watch this. This is hilarious. Can you imagine if I saw this on film? It'd probably have a whole podcast on it. So look at here. You can watch these two guys that block somebody. They don't know what to do. They start blocking each other. Both the guard and the center. I mean, tell me that's not hilarious. Can you imagine what the ribbing those guys are getting when the film comes out and they sit down with their coaches and the other players? I mean, some people is like, you're a hater, you hate. And I'm like, I'm just evaluating. I mean, have you ever been in a film room at all with any coach or players? It's not like, hugs and tissues. It's all right, bro. It doesn't work like that. That's not how it goes. So that's got to be brutal. And the reality is film shows the truth. And so I'm going to go over film here of the offense, some good things and some sobering things. And when you look at the film, it doesn't mean that it's going to be this next week. It depends on the coaches, what they call it, depends on what the matchups. But you try to find traits that continue through the season, traits that get exposed against the better talent, and there's traits that get exposed by the lesser talent. And that's how you start gauging your evaluation. So I'm going to go over that film. But, first I'm going to do the injuries. I'll click this thing one more time for the Dolphins. Oh, we got it. Yes. Not injury related. Yes. Kendall Lamb is not injury related. I'm happy about that. All right, so Xavier Howard didn't practice. Ingle didn't practice. Foot, that's a little bothersome. Groin, Connor didn't practice. Everybody else seems to be practicing. Claypool was out there. He's got a knee thing. Probably just something. Ramsey. Now, that is great news. He's come. It's unbelievable what him and Rodgers are doing. Kohu's got a little neck thing. So Lamb's a big deal for us, guys. I mean, I know the hype, but if we have Lamb, there's a little bit, let's see how it goes, because we can expose that secondary. Because if you look at Philly's injury report, Blankenship is out, and he's a very, very good safety, good at coverage, good at hitting. And if he's not in, it's going to put these other guys in a chance to be exposed. And if the Dolphins could put up a couple of quick points, they get on fire. It's like when they start getting impatient and things kind of like are held down for a while, they start running into these ruts. But when they start putting points on it, it starts blowing the gates open. And if Blankenship's not in, it can kind of offset things where Eichenberg is in the middle and you got Lamb over there and you can find that stuff over the top if they make mistakes. But still, it's going to be, I'd rather have Connor. And then Lane Johnson's probably the best left tackle in the game. I don't think he's given up a sack in like 2 years or something. He's out. He's got a grade 1 sprain of his ankle. If he's not in, it's going to definitely help us a ton. And we're going to need some help on his defense because the Eagles' offense is going to have an edge. And then Devonta Smith's got a hamstring. Now, if X is out and Devonta's out, it kind of offsets things, and that's going to help us a little bit. So there's this nebulous thing about injuries. Now, Needham and Wilson, they're coming back. I don't know if they're playing or not. We'll see. So the injury thing is very interesting. Thankfully, Lamb's in because, guys, it's not just the production. The offensive line protects people, and you can get somebody hurt if somebody totally screws up. We've seen that. We've seen this happen twice so far this season. So it's good news. I'm still hoping that Connor gets back. So that's that. Now, before I get into the film, I want to let you guys know I'm going to do it live on Friday. I had another half of the film, defensive stuff, interesting stuff, but I'm going to cover that then just because it's concepts. It's not really, it's not applicable exactly towards this Carolina game. The good news is I am seeing some growth, but then there's still some things in it. But then there's some twists, some new stuff that Fangio's added, and I'm not sure what to make of it. So I'll cover that on Friday. So Friday night at 10 o'clock live, I'll cover the Eagles game with film and Dolphins defense with film and whatever else that night on this channel, 10 p.m. Friday night. And then Saturday, I'm at Mafia Sports Report for AFC Shakedown. That's it, guys. And I want to say thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all you do for the likes and subscribes, the comments, the views, all that stuff. Helps my sponsors to say that I'm not a total monkey, that they'll continue sticking with me. So without you guys and without them, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. Without much further ado, let's get into the film, take a look at it, and see what we see. All right, let's open up with a little some pop and sizzle for the quarterback and receiver, Hill and Tua. You see on a pull, Wynn forgets to go inside out and goes outside in, putting pressure into his face, but he delivers at a dime. Look at where he puts that ball into location. And then Hill using the running back skills to put his hand in the ground and pop himself up. Classic RB drill. And then to take off like this, stud delivery and stud after the catch. Now on this one, you can see Tua, again, he's got the ability to throw and roll away from the hit and deliver the ball. This is all going a long way towards him staying healthy. All right, so on this one, you can see the play action. Now watch the leverage. The outside defender does not have the farthest guy out inside too much, and then he loses leverage. And people talk about 4.340, Tua beating him. It's because he had lost leverage. And it was nice for him to get out like that. But this, getting his shoulders vertical in the air with the receiver and delivering the football like that, now that is the stud part of the play. But it was bad leverage by the defense to make it happen. But what a delivery. On this one inside, you can see, watch Mostert. Play breaks down. Bad situation for the running back. But what he does with the first guy he meets up with shows what kind of back he is. Breaks that one right there. Nice little leap. Cuts back inside. Breaks another tackle and picks up 3 when it should have been a loss. Or maybe 2, but great run. Now, why? This is a great run. Watch this. Everything breaks down. Look at that pop and restart and finding the hole. That is an exceptional run. Now, you can see I'll get some hate here, but Jackson and Liam both getting destroyed, but Mostert puts the foot in the ground, jukes the socks out of 93. That's an unbelievable play. That's how a running back lifts up an offensive line. Now over here, notice his communication with Hill, number 10, and his hand in the ground. Put the other Hill in motion. The linebackers begin to roll. You see that? There's some issues with that, but I'll get to that another day. But you see Hill delivers a nice pop-out block. You can see Eichenberg and Jackson kind of losing there. But the key is Hunt down the line, open this thing up, and then watch Mostert again. Look at that spin out. 1, 2, 3. And then he just doesn't stop. He's got the speed to keep dragging this play out and elongating it more and more. This guy is a stud. So I'll take a look at this play again. You see the motion. Now watch right there, Hunt. He's the guy that makes this play happen. Big guy on the move, washes him down, but then Mostert putting the foot in the ground, be able to come back and get vertical. And then that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful play with Hunt and Mostert leading the way. Some other good stuff in there too, but that's the main points of this wonderful play. So here's another one. Again, Hunt on the move. Look at this. He's going to blow this guy into Kingdom Come. Nice shot. Puts him out there. He doesn't really destroy him, but I felt like saying that. And then you get Mostert with the touchdown. But this is a very, very nice play. I mean, Hunt's a big guy. And he just gets him down the line of scrimmage, seals it off. But notice here, they put Berrios in motion, and 12 and 13 both go. This was a breakdown of defense exploited by the Dolphins. Now watch Smythe, 81. You get Hunt with a nice block here. Mostert breaks the tackle, but Smythe seals that, or it might not have been a touchdown. 2 excellent blocks on a bad defense and a nice fight by Mostert. We'll keep going here, and you'll see the handoff down the line of scrimmage. But watch, this is what happened to Achane last week. Wynn gets beat terribly, and now you got a guy in pursuit and back. But thankfully, Hill's able to finish that block off, so Ahmed isn't caught from behind and hit from behind. Nice little block there, but that is a feature of Wynn's poor run block. You got to remember, it is there. Then there's another one. You can see Jackson right now getting okey-doked. And this is by, a good player. So you got to add that into account, but he is beaten pretty bad. And so we have to understand the caliber of the players they're going against. It matters. Now here, as you pressure inside on Wynn and Jackson and Lamb, and then Tua's got to throw away. So it's not a perfect day. And this is a low end defense. So you got to ratchet it up against the better teams. Now over here, one last thing to look at, something happened here. I don't know if Eichenberg probably should have got him, but the tight end, both tight end and Eichenberg go past, and they both see they miss somebody. I think Eichenberg thought the tight end was going to pick him up, but he's the guy in the front. He should have made that hit, and you can see Mostert jabber like, we could have had something. Tua is growing. I mean, it's clear. The guy has a decent framework, and he's going to produce at a high level. Hill, stud. Mostert is a much better back than I think people gave him credit for. This is why I didn't want Cook and I didn't want Taylor. He's the guy for us this year. And then Achane's going to be the guy to kind of build going forward. Maybe Wilson, maybe one more year with Mostert. I don't know. At the pace he's running right now, maybe next year, maybe not. And, then you find another guy. But he's the guy for this year. He's the guy to carry this team. He's got the game slowed down. He's got the strength, the speed, the vision. Some of those runs were absolutely exceptional. Now, I've been talking about the run game, how it's the difference between last year and this year is the run game, among other things. But it's the run game that creates some of these blitzes. It's the run game that puts the hesitancy in the defense. It's the run game that puts you in easy situations where it's not all on Tua, it's not all on the receivers. And it's this run game that's the true juice to this offense and team. And you can see it's a fact. Jackson and Eichenberg struggle in the run game. Now, our receiving group, we get some good blocks from Hunt and Lamb and some of the guys on the edge. And sometimes they'll get a decent block too. And then the speed makes something happen. But there is a concern. And when you see these blips of bad blocking, it's going to increase when you get better talent in front of you. And this week it's going to be critical. This is the third best run defense in the league for a reason. And so Connor is one of the best centers at run blocking in the league. And if he's in there, it opens the doors for a lot of stuff. But conversely, if Eichenberg's in there, it's going to limit a lot of stuff, just like it did with the Bills game. You weren't limited because the Panthers only had one D tackle, one D end who could pass rush, and that's about it, and a linebacker and nothing else. This defense is totally different. Last week, Shy Tuttle, who fell off the map 2 years ago, 6'3", 300. Nick Thurman, 6'4", 295 was all that Eichenberg saw. This week, he's going to see Fletcher Cox. He's going to see Jalen Carter if he shows up. And then on top of that, there's guys on the edge that are going to need, Lamb and Jackson are going to need a little help. And so it's going to pull things open on the inside, because if you protect the inside, then you got to worry about the edges. And so this is going to be a very, very difficult week. I do not believe Eichenberg can do the job. Maybe he will. But for me, thankfully Lamb's there. Hopefully Connor comes in and we can get a good game. So that's really it, guys. Ramsey returning is big. You're going to see this defense grow. The guys are starting to communicate. So it's huge. Just got to hope some of these guys get back. Post-bye week, you're going to get a flood of talent, as long as you don't get any more injuries. And then we'll get to see really what this team can do. And they're going to be in a good spot. At the least, they're going to be, 9-3 or something? No, 6-3 at the very least. Maybe 7-2 with that influx of talent. That will be the time to start getting excited. So this week's going to be a big one. I'll have more coverage for you guys later. Curtis, catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.